Together we will marvel at the boy who can fly, the woman of blinding speed, and hold our collective breath for the one sport we hold most dear. So gather your colleagues, your family, and your friends, for the time has come to say, let the games begin. The Vancouver 2010 Olympic Winter Games start February 12th on CTV. It's time to believe.
When John Edwards recently confessed to fathering real Hunter's love child, it continued the downward spiral of a man who was once on the short list to become president. Amazing now, isn't it? Edwards had initially asked his former aide, Andrew Young, to cover up the scandal by claiming that he, Young, was the father. And amazingly, Young agreed, and so did his wife, Sherry. Now Andrew Young has written a scathing new expose of Edwards. It's called The Politician. But from his wife, Elizabeth Edwards, filing for divorce to claims of a sex tape, the saga continues. We have with us today Andrew Young and his wife, Sherry. Thank you for being with us this morning. You know, this is almost impossible to believe, but just to recap, you wrote that you, as the father of three, married, agreed to say that you were the father of real Hunter because you believed so much in John Edwards, and because also, frankly, this was going to be a stepping stone for you to have an interesting political life. But it is still so hard for people to believe that you would claim to be the father of the child and that you, his wife, would agree. So you tell us why you did it.
Okay. It's not as simple as people look at first. I had worked for the Edwards for 10 years, and in those first 5 years, John Edwards was what he seemed to be. He was a very charismatic, gifted person who was dedicated to the causes that he espoused. In those first couple of years, right after their son had tragically died of a car accident, I just can't tell you what, he and I were buddies. We jogged together, we went to the Final Four together, our families became enmeshed, our kids played together, they were of similar ages. I didn't just work for him, our families became very, very close. And as this moved forward, my work and my family were all tied up with the Edwards. And does it make it right? No. Does it make it rational? No. You're absolutely right. It's crazy, and I say that in the book. It's absolutely crazy.
Sherry, with everything that happened, why would you let your husband do this? How did you go along with it?
Well, I'd like to step back and review the previous 9 years before this, 8 or 9 years. Andrew was so loyal and so devoted to John and Elizabeth Edwards. He essentially was absent from our family. And I allowed that. And it was year after year after year of anger on my part. It created a lot of problems between Andrew and I. But I loved Andrew. And I believed in him, and I did believe in John Edwards, that he had talent and ability and he could be president. So I allowed him to do this for both John and Elizabeth and their family. Then when the question came, it was at a point when we were already so far in. You put the previous years of anger, you put where we were with Riel Hunter. She had already showed up at my front door, which was the first time I'd ever seen her. Then we got her a house. Then it was...
She lived with you for a while.
Absolutely, she did.
10 months, right? While she was hiding the pregnancy?
Right.
Okay.
8 to 9 months. Then she furnished the entire house. He was already getting money in to pay for her. At this point, when he asked me that day at PetSmart, well, we left PetSmart and went through the McDonald's, I cannot describe the things I said to Andrew.
The question was?
Would I step... The way that he phrased it at the PetSmart, and he was on the cover of Newsweek as the sleeper, and it made the argument the Democrats were not going to risk, after Gore in 2000 and Kerry in 2004, they were not going to risk an historical election. They were going to go with John Edwards. And the senator put the whole spiel on it. And you have to remember, this is not just an average Joe or neighbor making
No,
the
he's
pitch.
incredibly convincing.
He's one of the most gifted trial lawyers and speakers of our time.
And he asked you to claim paternity.
He put in good versus evil. You know, Elizabeth is about to die of cancer. I don't want her to go out with this way. And he also his closing pitch was, this is going to be short term. As soon as the election is over, as soon as the primaries are over, I'm going to tell the truth.
I have to ask this. I have to ask this question. At any point, did it occur to you that, having gone through this years before with another president, that what you were signing on for was BSing the American people with the guy that you thought was the right guy to run the country? Didn't you know that what you were doing was lying to the country and allowing him to do that?
I'm sorry, go ahead, sweetie.
So let me leave McDonald's and let us get home. So what happened was I listened in on a conversation, which was Riel, Edwards, Andrew, and I, and that's part of the business that he went into. That he needed to continue. You know, this was his time. He could win. He could continue. Okay, now put that into perspective. That this is how.
Didn't you know that
was
you
what we
were
gave everything
BSing
to
the
them
people?
for year after year after year after year. There was never a no, ever.
But you guys weren't 18 when this was happening.
You
right?
don't.
No, 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 no,
So we did not think of consequences at that point. I mean, listen.
That was what I wanted to ask.
You also have to realize you have to put this in the time
Didn't
spectrum
you
of,
know that you were
this was in
BSing the
2006. This was when the Democrats,
Didn't you know
including
that you
myself,
were
were desperate to have
BSing the
somebody
people?
other than Cheney, Rove,
You were gonna
and Bush
give
running the White
the
House. But let me finish.
more
We were 12. We had 12 hours to
More
make a decision. 12 hours, and it was about 12 days before the office started. Does it make it right? No, we're not. We are admitting it was crazy. It was wrong.